Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Coming up later on this week, we are going to see the next major update for Black Ops 7 and Warzone, and that of course is Season 1 Reloaded. And surprisingly enough, we've got some early details on this update itself when it comes to the actual download, and also when it comes to what we can expect for some of the patch notes. The devs have gone through and confirmed a few updates specifically coming with Season 1 Reloaded, including a few ones that have been very obnoxious over the past few weeks, a few fixes and gameplay updates that will address some very annoying things going on in game. So first up here, we got to start off with some update details, some physical update details, I should say. InfoCOD ended up posting the other day saying Season 1 Reloaded should be coming this week. There's still no information on it, but it will be out soon. PlayStation Game Size, who we usually track for when major title updates have been added to the database, that way we know that a major update is inbound, does say this update is already available in the database for PlayStation, which confirms it is now right around the corner. And he was asked how big it is, and PlayStation Game Size says it is a medium-sized update. So it's not going to be a massive download by any means, but it's also not going to be like 4 gigs or anything. So it's going to be a mid-size update. Well posted at Zach here, because right after I recorded this video initially, we actually got the preload live on Battle.net. So while on console, at least on PlayStation, according to PlayStation Game Size, it's going to be a mid-size update. On Battle.net, it's going to be a huge update, because the current download for Season 1 Reloaded on the preload is 170 plus gigs if you've got all modes installed. So multiplayer, Warzone, zombies, campaign / endgame. It's a massive update for some reason. I'm sure it has to do maybe partially with some file optimization, maybe in preparation for Blackout and Avalon and everything in Season 2. But yeah, much larger than a mid-size update on PC. So just a heads up, if you're on Battle.net, be sure to get that preload done in time. Get that going so you're all set up for Thursday, which should include several new gameplay updates. Obviously, for Black Ops 7 Warzone, we're going to have new content with that. Plenty of patch notes, gameplay updates, different changes and fixes there. But also, if it's a medium-sized one for a mid-season update, it's likely going to include other future assets as well. We're talking for Season 2, so maybe some updates for Blackout, updates for other Warzone stuff, potentially some new weapons getting leaked there. So once the update is out and downloaded, I'm sure the data miners will be going through and looking for various new files that have been added. And if we get new info out of that for what to expect for Season 2 in the general future here for COD, you guys know we'll be covering all that info right as it surfaces. So be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know for that, alongside everything else going on in COD as well. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, as we're going through some of the early expectations for this next major update, if you enjoy it, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It's always seriously appreciated, and it really does help grow the channel, and share the video around to new viewers. Now, COD Updates is back, and they've been posting a little bit over the past day or so. They're back from their holiday and New Year's break, of course. Just yesterday, they posted for Black Ops 7 and for Zombies. They are investigating reports that the spend 100,000 Essence challenge for week 5 does not actually progress as expected. Seen quite a few comments about this saying it's only tracking how many things you're buying and not actually the essence itself. So an update will be coming for that. And then another one that's been broken for a little bit here, unfortunately, from week 4, they're investigating reports that the get 30 objective kills in objective modes is also not progressing as expected. So if you've been trying to work on some of your weekly challenges, getting those aftermarket parts, getting the camo tiers stepped up a little bit there so you can have that ready for the end of the season and get that max Season 1 challenge camo, there's been some bugs going on with a few of the challenges. They are looking into those. We also, though, have the Trello boards here for multiplayer, for Warzone, for the global stuff as well, that have several new updates on them now that the devs are back from break. So first up here, as we were just talking about on Twitter, funny enough, they actually already have a full fix scheduled for the objective kills and objective modes challenge being bugged. So this will be something that does end up getting fixed here with Season 1 Reloaded, it would seem. They say, thanks for the reports. We've identified that objective kills with the hand cannon and the Gravemaker score streaks currently progressed this challenge, but nothing else was doing so, which is such a weird way for that challenge to somewhat work. But nonetheless, a fix is fully scheduled, so Season 1 Reloaded should be fully addressing that. Definitely some good news there. They also now have a fix scheduled for using the Hellstorm score streak on PlayStation, resulting in a crash. Obviously a pretty annoying one there. You finally get a streak, you call it in, and there goes your game. So they do have a fix scheduled for that. Season 1 Reloaded should mention that in the full patch notes there. They say we have a fix scheduled for this issue that will arrive at a later date there. There's a few other things they are just investigating across the board. For instance, the launcher's doing less damage to score streaks than intended in kill confirmed in Overload, a very niche one there. But then another fix that's scheduled here that they confirm yet again, stim shot overclock progress is not currently tracking properly. Fix scheduled for this. This has been a big one, basically stopping anyone new from going through and maxing out their stim shot so they can get all of the overclock abilities there. This will also be be addressed here in Season 1 Reloaded, presumably, considering that fix has been scheduled for a few weeks now. They weren't able to get that update out prior to the holiday break, which was a big bummer, but the next update should address that. Then in the zombies tab here, funny enough, the objective kills broken challenge has a fix scheduled, but the essence one, they're just investigating currently, so they don't have a fix scheduled for this one necessarily, but I'd be surprised if this wasn't fixed with Season 1 Reloaded, because it seems like it's a pretty straightforward problem there. They do, though, still have a fix scheduled for force multiplier in zombies. That challenge not tracking progress correctly. This was also bugged before the holiday break, but once again, unfortunately, they just couldn't go through and fully get this one fixed in time for that, but Season 1 Reloaded should address that. They're also looking into the multi-pack augment for Mule Kick, currently not working as intended there. Few in-game updates too that they have listed here. They are monitoring where sometimes your slots unintentionally change for your operators, then the gunboat is still disabled in-game because there is some impact on match performance there. So they're looking into that. That'll be back once they have stability things resolved. If we see various stability fixes mentioned in the in-game patch notes when those drop later this week, that might be what they're referencing. But then over on the Warzone side of things, again, it's just a lot of things being investigated currently, especially in like the global modes tab here across Battle Royale, Resurgence, the various different LTMs. Most of the stuff has been on this Trello for some time. We've covered the vast majority of it over the course of the past few weeks and throughout the holiday break. But they do still have one fix scheduled here that Season 1 Reloaded will be addressing, it seems. And that is an issue where if you get Specialist, you get every single perk in the game, as you should, except for Mountaineer. So you don't get any extra fall damage protection. You don't get the combat roll that is a feature of the Mountaineer perk. So you get every single perk in the game except for that one, which can be pretty important. If you were unaware of that and you're like, oh, I got Specialist, I got everything, let me just jump off this larger edge here, and then you die to fall damage and you lose your Specialist, that's gonna suck. So that one definitely is gonna be nice to see fixed there. You don't ever have to worry about that once that is fully addressed there. And then something else to take note of here is this restricted items thing. That this is had a few updates obviously throughout December, disabling the body shield because there were exploits there. Then also the TR2 CQB auto conversion was disabled because it had some crazy strong damage. They basically removed those from the game. Good chance that we do see those return here once they go through and they balance out those rather than having a broken DMR like meta throughout the holiday break like back in Cold War Warzone. This time around they saw something was a little bit concerning. They just straight up disabled it in game so no one can end up using that. But again, should likely be something that is addressed here in the relatively near future. Obviously, this is just a glimpse of what to expect here going into Season 1 Reloaded later this week. The full-on patch notes across multiplayer, zombies, Warzone, in-game, the global stuff as well is going to be far more thorough, far more detailed, with even more things they're buffing, they're nerfing with weapon balancing, they're fixing with perks, they're doing all sorts of different bug fixes and gameplay updates here, even more so than what's just mentioned on the Trellos themselves. But nice that since their return from holiday break, they've already confirmed a few early updates that will be getting addressed here later on this week, it seems. That being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one, though. If you guys enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It's always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to ensure that each and every day you are in the know for everything going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.